Hi, I'm Rachel Facade on MET, Minority Entertainment Television. If there's less of you than there are of me, we'll put you on TV. Now welcome to Where They Be. Today we'll be talking to Franklin, who most of us will remember as the only African-American friend of Charlie Brown. He was also Buck Buck Player Number 2 in the Fat Albert episode of the same name and Thug Number 3 in an episode of Gary Coleman's The Littlest Angel. Franklin also wrote a book called Found a Peanuts, which had very little to do with the series, but more about his life afterwards. So what has Franklin been up to? I don't know. Let's find out. So, Franklin, how are you?
Good, thank you. I must say, it's good to be here.
It's nice to have you. Well, Franklin, we asked this of all of our guests. What is it that you like to do when you go out for entertainment?
I see movies. I love watching stand-up comics. I just saw Michael Richards. He was hilarious.
Absolutely. So tell me, what was it like working with an icon like Charlie Brown?
Well, to be perfectly honest, he shaved his head, as most white supremacists do.
Are you saying?
Yes, he was a stone-cold racist. But such a good actor. Shows couldn't fire him. And Snoopy, they made him wear white face and body. He was actually a black dog. They left his ears black so he could hear.
Wow, that's news. What was your relationship like with the rest of the cast? I mean, did you get along with everyone else?
Everybody else was great, but given their quirks.
Oh? Quirks like what?
This is probably not a shock to you, but Marcy and Peppermint Patty, they were lesbians. And Marcy, she was the aggressive one. Sir my ass. And Linus, let's just say the only thing he wasn't sucking was his thumb. You know what I mean. Lucy, she was a super freak. Her, my girl Sally, and I had a three-way. I thought it would never end. I haven't seen her since.
That's amazing. Now you said my girl Sally. For those of you who don't know this, Franklin and Sally have been living together for some 30 years and have 3 kids, whose names are Marcy, Patty, and Linus. Those are very interesting names. Wherever did you come up with those?
We want to pay tribute to our old cast members who died in a freak eating accident involving Fat Albert.
What about Pigpen? He was such a great characterization of how each of us must live our lives in the filth of society while staying true to ourselves.
Pigpen? He wasn't even a member of the cast. He was just some homeless guy that wandered onto the set, smelling like piss and mumbling some shit that they left in the show. You know, they paid him off in Mad Dog. That reminds me of what happened to Snoopy. I just don't want to talk about it.
This is very interesting stuff. So what are you doing now, Franklin?
Well, I'm producing a Broadway show based on the old Peanut show called Cashews. We've got Dave Chappelle as Charlie Brown, known as Chuck B. We've got Chris Rock playing Linus, now Lewis. And we've got Halle Berry as Sally, but it's going to be Shaniqua.
That is an amazing cast. And who will play the Franklin role?
Well, we wanted the quintessential white guy to play the role. That's why we chose Rosie O'Donnell.
Franklin, thank you so much for coming on and letting us know how you are and giving us such a close look inside the Peanuts world. Please join us next week on Where They Be, when we'll be talking to Haji from the Johnny Quest series.
Coming up next on MET, All Night Poker from the Big Sky Casino with your host, Chief Dealing Bear. Followed by Belly Dance Aerobics with your instructor, Shakira.
It was a nightmare, I tell you, between Race trying to hump everything in the skirt and Dr. Quest constantly trying to get into my tent. I was one homicidal Hindi.